Welcome back. Your man Diamond K in here. Diamond K in the morning on the all-new radioonfire.com. Thank you for joining me. Happy Tuesday to everybody. So much going on, so much happening in the world, and we are going to get into a lot of that today, this morning. Unfortunately, we have been reporting on this tragedy in Miami-Dade with the collapse of this condo, 12 stories. It is entering the sixth day. So at least 11 people dead. 150 others remain unaccounted for after this partial collapsing of this South Florida structure. So if you've seen the pictures and you've seen some of the family members and you can just feel the anguish that these family members are going through, hoping to get positive news. But as this thing drags on, as this excruciating ordeal continues, things are looking very, very bleak. We're in day 6. The slow work of sifting through the remnants of a collapsed condo. I mean, the progress has endured all type of delays. People waiting for answers. People are waiting for news, having them cope with the fact that their loved ones may not come out alive. Many of them learning that some of their loved ones will come out as body parts. This kind of information is excruciating for everybody. So the work has been dangerous, because there is a risk of a further collapse. So you have that to deal with. And, thunderstorms rolled through the area this morning. Debris fell onto the search area overnight from a shattered edge, part of the building that stands, forcing the rescuers to mark a "do not go beyond here" line and focus their efforts on parts of the debris pile that are further from the structure. That's not helpful. 2 additional bodies found yesterday, and that raised the count of confirmed to 11. So we still have 150 people unaccounted for. Surfside, Florida. Authorities are meeting often with families to explain what they're doing. Families came to the site as close as they could come over the weekend, and they've discussed with the families everything from DNA matches, how DNA matches are made, help identify the dead, and how the next of kin will be contacted, and going into very extreme detail of how they are searching the mound, the ruins. So hopefully, armed with that knowledge, families are coming to their own conclusions, because while they're going in detail about this, families have to accept some of the things. This is the 6th day. Some are feeling still hopeful, others are less hopeful, because they don't have definite answers. Talking about the rescue workers, they don't have definite answers. They can give them facts. They can take them to the site. They can show them the operation. They can show them how things work. But they also have to prepare themselves for news one way or the other. So rescuers are using buckets and heavy machinery as they work atop these mounds. This concrete just pulverized. Twisted steel, remnants of households. I mean, you see mattresses, you see all kind of stuff. Firefighters, we talked about that. Sniffer dogs, search experts coming from all over the world using radar, using sonar, trying to find anything, any type of living something. Yeah. So the pancake collapse of this building, the left layer. It's just frustrating. It's frustrating to watch, and I'm sure it's frustrating to try to do this job. Every time they do something, there's some kind of reaction. Every action is a reaction, and I don't know how long this is going to go on, but it is just a terrible thing to watch, and it has folks angry. It has folks angry. So this building collapsed just 2 days before a deadline for the condo owners to start making the very steep payments toward the more than $9 million in repair that has been recommended for nearly 3 years. Can you imagine 3 years? Major structural damage. However, and here's the real kicker. This was not relayed, of course, to the residents. This was hidden from the residents. This information was hidden from the residents. So right now we have 11 people dead, 150 unaccounted for. 12-story building in South Florida just dropped to the ground without warning. Well, there was warning because the owners knew. So this massive search and rescue operation going into day number 6. Heads are going to roll for this. Now, so far, 136 people who are living or staying in the condominium at the time of the disaster have been accounted for. And the remaining structure that still stands was cleared by rescue workers last week. And all the resources have since shifted to focusing on the debris. So imagine if you lived in this structure that's still standing, would you want to stay there? Would you still want to stay there? I would not. I would not want to still stay there. So as of yesterday, crews had not physically reached the bottom of the pile. Even after 6 days, they still haven't reached the bottom of the pile. Talk about slow. And I understand that there have been a lot of, like I said, reactions to stuff that they've been doing. There have been a lot of things to hinder progress. But you still, after 6 days, haven't reached the bottom of the pile? I don't understand why that is. 6 days. Now I'm thinking after 1 or 2 days, they probably could have found more people potentially alive. But tomorrow's going to be day 7. Why weren't they at the bottom of this pile already? I'm thinking that some people would have still been alive after 1 day, 2 days. Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting upset thinking about it. So the search is frantic, right? And I understand that. But when, you say frantic, who's frantic? Because this operation is going slowly, and I understand that things are happening to slow it down. There is adversity. But let's keep in mind this building fell down. I just don't understand why this cannot be happening faster. Why we can't get to the bottom of the pile before a week. All right, maybe it's me because I understand I've never done that before. I've never, done this type of work. But it just common sense tells me that we should be able to move this faster than it is happening. So the remaining structure that still stands, as I said, was cleared. They have not reached the bottom of the pile, but cameras placed inside shows voids and air pockets where people could be trapped. If you can get the camera down there, move this stuff out of the way. More than 80 rescuers are working on the pile at a time. 80? More than 80. That's half of the amount of people that's missing. We need more people. What is going on? We need more people. They're listening for sounds, trying to tunnel through. And so the search continues. We're going to need a miracle here. Bringing out more people alive. Conditions on the pile are bad and not ideal for workers. All right. So it is hot. The humidity, rain, but the search efforts, they say, are continuing 24 hours a day. And they're putting out a lot of information because I think that many people feel like I feel, like this should be moving faster. All the technology that we have, why aren't you at the bottom of the pile after nearly a week? But you know, so they're putting out all this information because when this backlash comes, some of these whoever's in charge of the rescue, they don't want to be swept up in that. And there's going to be an example made out of a lot of people with regards to this. What went wrong? What is the cause of this partial collapse to a building that has withstood decades of hurricanes? This is in Florida. There have been plenty of hurricanes, but why out of nowhere this building just drops? Miami-Dade Police Department is leading an investigation into this incident. So far, they're saying that there's no evidence of foul play. And when I first reported on this story, I hinted at the possibility of foul play. I mean, you always have to throw it out there. It's possible. Have you ever seen a structure drop without any cause? I haven't. Now, I saw 9/11. I saw the Twin Towers drop after a plane went into them. I've seen demolitions. I've been on site for demolitions, and construction crews knock something into the building or set off a charge, and I've seen buildings drop. But I've just never seen a building just drop. Yeah, I've never seen that before. So I'm going to be anxious to see the result of this investigation that the Miami-Dade Police Department is conducting into what caused this partial collapse to a building that has withstood decades and decades of hurricanes and just dropped in the middle of the night. Haven't seen anything like this before. So we talked about this yesterday. The November 2018 email, also released by the town, because people trying to cover themselves, that the Surfside building official told the then town manager that he had met with the Champlain Towers South residents, and it went very well. All right. This structural field survey report from the month before in October 2018, which was among hundreds of pages of public documents released by the town over the weekend, said that the waterproofing below the condominium's pool deck and the entrance drive was failing and causing major structural damage to the concrete structural slab below these areas. Let me say that again. The report said that the waterproofing below the condominium's pool deck and entrance drive was failing and causing major structural damage to the concrete structural slab below these areas. So that was in October 2018. They said that the response was very positive from everyone in the room. All the main concerns over their 40-year recertification process were addressed. This particular building is not due to begin their 40-year until 2021, but they have decided to start the process early, which I wholeheartedly endorse and wish this trend would catch on with other properties. So that is interesting. A former resident told ABC News that during the 2018 meeting that the condominium was said to be not in bad shape. Not in bad shape. Sentiment that appears to conflict with the structural field survey report that was written 5 weeks earlier. So somebody lied. You know that they did not tell those residents that the waterproofing below the pool deck and the entrance drive was failing. They didn't tell those folks that, those residents. They told them everything was all good. Because you tell them that, they're going to start pushing back to get this thing fixed. And of course, the folks who own the Champlain Towers weren't trying to spend the money to fix it at that time. They were not trying to fix it at that time. A spokesperson for the Champlain Towers South Condo Association said that they cannot comment on pending litigation, but their focus remains on caring for our friends and neighbors during this difficult time. Oh, heads are going to roll about this. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. There's going to be a whole bunch of backtracking, finger pointing, and all that kind of stuff. Miami-Dade County officials are aware of the study, and they are looking into it. So it is very interesting. It is very interesting. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire, of course. Diamond K in the morning on the all new radioonfire.com. I am here mornings 8 a.m. running down the top news stories of the day and then throughout the day as news happens. Here in the program, we deliver those stories, articles, interviews. You can also visit radioonfire.com. Program emanates from our studios in Baltimore and Atlanta. And the program is available on the WRF Radio app. You can download WRF Radio in your app store. Also, Radio on Fire, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, youtube.com/DJ Diamond K. Get breaking news and adult conversations covering topics that are important. radioonfire.com for our original radio, podcast, and TV programs. So, extreme weather, many parts of the country going down, right in the middle of it. A code red for extreme heat alert today and tomorrow. Here in Maryland, it is going to be a scorcher, excessive heat and humidity hitting this area. The heat index is going to make it feel hotter than 100 degrees. The actual temperature is going to be in the 90s this week in Maryland. Please drink more fluids, regardless of your activity level. Don't wait until you're thirsty to do it. Yeah, stay hydrated. I got water right here beside me. I normally do anyway. But we definitely Want you to remember to give your pets extra water. Preferably avoid alcohol. It's hot. Caffeine and overly sweetened beverages. Loose-fitting clothes, lightweight, light-colored clothing. Try to avoid direct sunlight. Wear some sunscreen. Stay in the shade when possible. Avoid salt tablets unless your doctors, advise you to take them. Take it easy outside. Try to schedule some of that physical activity in the morning or in the evening. Take some breaks. Cooling centers all across Baltimore. You have a list of those on radioandfire.com. There is a whole bunch of cooling centers. So definitely want folks to stay as cool as possible during this June heat wave that we are in the midst of right now. Opening statements set for the Capitol Gazette shooting insanity phase. This is just going to be a whole thing here. Gerard Ramos pleaded guilty to all 23 counts against him October 2019. But he is contending that he is not criminally responsible due to mental illness. Opening statements are starting one day after the third anniversary of the attacks that killed folks at this Capitol Gazette. You remember that. It's tragic. If Ramos was found not criminally responsible, he would be committed to a maximum security psychiatric hospital instead of prison. Of course, that's what he really wants to do. Prosecutors are seeking life without the possibility of parole. Ramos is 41, has a well-documented history of harassing that newspaper's journalist. He filed bogus lawsuits against the paper back in 2012, alleging that he was defamed in an article. He had some conviction on a criminal harassment case from the year before. That suit got dismissed and thrown out. He had just been harassing writers at that paper over time, and then eventually just goes in and just, shoots up the place. So we're following that case, and hopefully this accused murderer gets what he deserves. Man, that's 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. I can't. The time has just gone by. Now, in Washington, D.C. news, President Biden's cleanup effort on the infrastructure deal that's going on. And it's just so ironic that we're talking about infrastructure in Washington, and then we have this disaster happening in Miami-Dade due to infrastructure. So as a group of 10 Republican and Democratic senators get ready to leave D.C. on Thursday for their 2-week recess, doesn't it seem like they're always on recess? That is a gravy job. They are always on recess. So this infrastructure thing, who knows what's going to happen? Biden made I have air quotes, a clarifying statement over the weekend, trying to get some optimism from the Republicans that a bipartisan deal can still happen. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell trying to take advantage of this very shaky situation, demanding even more from Joe Biden, insisting that he tells Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi to also back down from their plans to tie the packages together. Mitch McConnell just, he is so irritating. So he is anything that he can do to get in the way of any type of progress on anything other than his agenda, he's going to do. When his time comes, when he loses his position, when he is gone, I'm going to be so happy. I can't wait to see the look on his face. Eventually, this piece of crap, Mitch McConnell, is going to lose and be gone. But until that happens, and then, I mean, I don't know even why I feel like that, because he's probably going to be replaced by somebody else who's a piece of crap just as well. And when I say he's a piece of crap, it's not that only that we differ politically, because just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean that they have to be a piece of crap. Mitch McConnell is a hypocrite and just genuinely a piece of crap. There's no give and take. It's never fair with him. And to me, you can have a different political view from someone and things can still be fair. He wants to slant things only in the direction that benefit him. So I don't understand why the Democrats are so soft and want to have some type of, they just, please work with us. The Republicans wouldn't be trying to work with them. They would be rolling over them. But the Democrats, oh no, soft and squishy. Soft and squishy. Moderate Republicans, or who they're trying to reach out to. But it appears that Mitch McConnell has these people by the throats, and these moderate Republicans are going to only do what he says. So Democrats are trying to appease moderate Republicans, trying to appease progressive Democrats, and they are not feeling Joe Biden for being so willing to, roll over for the Republicans. And they're feeling like you trying to roll over for them. What about us? Are we going to see any movement on any of these bills? I say no. The path forward is not clear. Schumer said last week that he plans to bring both the bipartisan infrastructure package and a reconciliation package to the floor when the Senate returns from its 2-week July 4th recess. Then, check this out, they're going to come back and then they're going to take a whole August break. Like all they do is take breaks. All he does is take breaks. All they do is take breaks. They come in, fuss about some stuff, take a break, come back, fuss about some stuff, take a break. You know what I'm saying? But the timeline that Schumer has in mind, it's ambitious, but reconciliation is a multi-step process. So it's going to require work by several Senate committees. So it is. This is just one of those things. Still, Democrats and Biden have been clear that they want to move on infrastructure this summer. There's going to be a lot of political drama happening in July. July is going to be super interesting with regards to politics in Washington, D.C. Super interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire, of course. YouTube.com/DJ Diamond K. Breaking news, adult conversations covering topics that are important to Black culture. RadioOnFire.com is where you go. And I am here mornings delivering my take on breaking news and stuff that come across my desk. A lot of stuff coming across my desk. Random information. The Orioles, the Baltimore Orioles, suck. Okay. Did win a game yesterday. That's a rarity. I remember when our team used to be halfway decent in Baltimore, halfway decent. But now is not the time where things are decent. As far as Baltimore, we talked about the violent weekend that we had. Shootings at the Inner Harbor and Mount Vernon marked another violent weekend in Baltimore. Police describe a dangerous combination of easy to obtain guns and lack of conflict resolution. The lack of conflict resolution is very, very much understated. People don't talk about that enough. The lack of conflict resolution. How not to let something blow up so big. A lot of this stems from that. Now, there's also economic factors here as well. Now, I talked about this yesterday. People that don't know, Baltimore's Inner Harbor is a strong tourist destination. When people come to Baltimore, they usually want to go to the Inner Harbor. So it's a strong tourist destination. And at the same time, over the weekend, the location for this big fight that broke out among a group of teenagers close to 11 p.m. on Saturday. So this fight happens on East Pratt Street, close to the National Aquarium, another tourist spot, right? Now, during that scuffle, someone shoots a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old. So both of those kids are in the hospital. And, it is just so much going on. No reason for this violence. No reason for the violence. I mean, among these teenagers, if you have a dispute, you can't resolve it. I mean, so they're just shooting each other. For what reason? This is just so, and I hate to be the back in my day, but I mean, a lot of this stuff could be handled hand to hand. You have a fight, fist fight, and that's it. People walk away. But the fact that a lot of this is, and I keep hammering on the fact that this is happening, or at least over the weekend, this happened at this strong tourist destination, because the police crackdown is going to happen. Because they got to hold on to this city loves the Inner Harbor, the government. They live and die on the Inner Harbor, and the crackdown is going to come from the police eventually. Evidently, kids are hanging out at the harbor. I was passing through there a couple of days ago, and it used to be a place where people hung kids, and then we went through a period where people were over it. It's like, we're tired of the harbor. Just like I said, Centennial Park in Atlanta. If you don't live in Atlanta, wow, I want to go to Centennial Park. But if you live there, it's no big deal, right? Suppose it's probably like Central Park in New York. The Inner Harbor is one of those things. But this city is going to try to protect the Inner Harbor. And I just fear that, like Fells Point, things are going to really escalate in the law enforcement's attempt to get control of one of the city's landmarks. So there was also a shooting in the Mount Vernon neighborhood that happened on the 1000 block of Hunter Street. Hunter Street is one of those areas that doesn't get any traffic. It's cut off by an entrance onto 83 South. So only the people on Hunter Street are there for a reason. It's not one of those, it's not a popping street. So police identified the victim as 23-year-old. He was a City College high school graduate and a football player. So many of the shootings, about 80%, are people who actually know or know of one another. 80%. And it is the same thing with murders. 80% of the people know one another or know of one another. It is one of those things, and it's sad because with my friends, we've had disagreements, we've had fist fights, but I just can't fathom being so angry at one of my friends, somebody that I even know, or somebody that I know of, that I'm ready to just shoot them. I mean, over a disagreement, over you disrespected me. There's ways that we can handle that other than let me just pull out a gun and just shoot them. Yeah. And it's just, sometimes some of your best friends can end up being people that you had a fist fight with in the past because you develop that mutual respect. You stand up for what you feel. They stood up for what they feel. You fight. You get it out your system. Then you got mutual respect. That can happen. That has happened. I have been witness to it. It's happened with me. Like I said, some of my best friends, we've had fist fights before and may have a fist fight again. But, it really bothers me for this random stuff. 17, 19 years old. Life hasn't even started yet. Life has not even started yet. And then, you got to go through that. Well, John McCain in the morning, the all-new radioonfire.com. Here I am talking about. Yeah, I'm like the old guy, right? Back in my day. So we talked about this tragedy in Florida. As far as COVID-19, it is seeming like most people just put that in the rearview mirror like the cicadas, right? Y'all not even thinking about that anymore. I'm seeing masks off. I still wear my mask, by the way. It just makes me feel comfortable. I do. When I go out places, I wear my mask. Look, you can say what you want to say. It just makes me feel better. And but many people not wearing a mask, most places opening up, and you just sense an economic boom happening. People seem happier that they can get out, and that's all good. Hopefully, the worst of this is behind us with regard to COVID-19. Hopefully. And as time goes on, we're going to see. And we're definitely going to find out. NFL. Let's talk football for a moment. NFL released a video saying that football is gay in support of the LGBTQ community. And that's all good, right? Do what you want to do, right? I just wish that the NFL had this same level of support for black people. Oh, yes, I said it. Black people make up most of the league. I don't know how many, of the LGBTQ community make up the NFL, but I do know that most of the players are black. The NFL does not have this level of blatant support for the black community. So I'd like to see that. Now, the LGBTQ community, and that's cool. I'm just saying you can spread the love to everybody. So they've been making headlines, obviously. This Vegas Raiders player revealed that he was gay last week. NFL has released this video showing their solidarity with the community. Ooh, that came quick. Now, when Colin Kaepernick takes the stand, the backlash is endless. But this gentleman from the Raiders, he gets his support immediately. And I'm just saying, you can give them support. That's cool. But I also want you to give support to black people specifically. So this video that they put out included messages like football is lesbian, football is beautiful, football is queer, and football is life. That's what it said. And along with that, the video featured the messages, football is transgender and bisexual, before ending by saying football is for everyone. Didn't say football is black. Didn't say stop police brutality. Didn't say none of that stuff. Or stop violence. Like, it's not only police brutality. I mean, about violence. I mean, we were talking about violence just a minute ago. And so there is a catering to that community, and I want catering to the black community as well. That's all I'm saying. You can cater to any community that you want, but I also feel that it makes business sense to cater to the community that is the biggest part of your league. So a spokesperson from the NFL noted that this 30-second video was a direct response to the player coming out publicly. So, I'm just saying the league is mostly black, right? It is. But it's just so strange. I was talking to one of my partners about why certain communities get catered to and why black communities don't get catered to as much, as often as deserved. And the answer is quite simple. The reason is that our community, other communities, hold these businesses more accountable than we do. Unity. There's more unity. If the black community held some of these businesses accountable that disrespect us, that ignore us, that take us for granted, if these businesses were really held accountable, if the black community did that, then they would bend over backwards for us. However, they don't do that. We don't hold accountable. They just take us for granted because we allow ourselves to be taken for granted. So until you as a community, and so every community that holds these corporations accountable, I'm cool with it. Jewish folks, my Jewish brothers and sisters, Asian folks, LGBTQ community folks holding these corporations accountable, I salute you. I salute you and support you. Black people, we have to also hold corporations accountable when they disrespect us. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That has to happen. When that happens, we're going to start getting the respect that we deserve. John McCain in the morning, the all-new radioonfire.com. Thank you for joining me. Derek Chauvin is reportedly nearing a federal plea deal. This is the murderer that was convicted of killing George Floyd, former police officer. So he's nearing a plea deal with federal prosecutors that could see him serve a 20 to 25 year federal sentence concurrently with the 22.5-year sentence that he got last week. So during last week's sentencing hearing, Chauvin told the court, at this time, due to some additional legal matters at hand, I'm not able to give a full formal statement at this time. But very briefly, though, I do want to give my condolences to the Floyd family, Chauvin said. There's going to be some other information in the future that would be of interest, and I hope that things will give you some peace of mind. Thank you. That's what he said. So sources are saying that part of the deal could include Chauvin publicly confessing what was going through his mind during the 9-minute murder of George Floyd. It is believed that this is what Chauvin referred to in that cryptic message that he said it's going to be some things in the future that would be of interest. That's what he was saying. There was no need for him to even say that, really. But he said it, and it is believed that is what he was referring to. Interesting. All right. Very, very interesting. Sadly, in Chi-Town, Chicago, 3 dead, including a child, after a train struck a car. There was an accident involving this train, struck this car, killing 3 occupants, including his child. So the train was heading north around 5 p.m. yesterday on the city's far south side when it struck this car. This collision derailed the train, derailed the front of the train, and caused the vehicle to catch on fire. So another just gut crunching, heart rendering, just a terrible thing. One of the spokespersons for the Metro train said that been doing the job for 12 years, and it was the worst thing that they'd ever seen. So there's no indication that the gates were malfunctioning, but at this point, can't really say what happened at that intersection. But that is just a sad thing. I mean, potentially, if they tried to make it before the train comes, all this to save 3 or 5 minutes of waiting for the train, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. That's what I was talking about yesterday, about the speed cameras, these 12 speed cameras that are going up in and around Baltimore next month. And it's just like, I'm telling people, slow down. You're trying to shave off a couple of minutes for what? For what? It's better to get there safely than to speed there. We got there real fast. Some people do get at the light. I got to the light quicker than you. It's just it makes no sense. Why are cars getting hit by trains in 2021? Sad news. I just want folks to slow the hell down. Diamond K in the morning on the all-new radioonfire.com. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on youtube.com/DJ Diamond K. I'll be in the mix later on today for the traffic jam mix. Last story in Texas. A dad shoots a man accused of masturbating outside of his child's window. This Texas father shot a man that was accused of peeping inside his daughter's window. Can you imagine? So Harris County Sheriff deputies say that the man and his wife confronted this piece of crap, Peeping Tom, who was drunk, around 10 p.m. on Sunday, the man was discovered by the young girl who naturally screamed. Parents come and see this loser in the window. The couple armed themselves and then confronted the man outside. According to authorities, the couple ordered the man to lie down on the grass until the police arrived. When the man didn't comply and walked across the street to a gas station, the wife, barred him from going inside while her husband asked the store clerk to call 911. So they chased the guy. And this is where it gets fuzzy, right? I mean, like, this is where they're taking it far. They chase the guy. I guess, are they trying to make a citizen's arrest? They chase the guy to the gas station. She's blocking him from getting inside the door, the suspect. And so there's a whole thing. So outside, the man wrestled the gun from the wife, and he's pointing the gun at her. This is why you do not pursue these instances. So the peeping Tom takes the gun from the wife. The husband subsequently opens fire on the man, shoots him 3 times. Now, of course, he said he was in fear that the peeping Tom was going to shoot his wife. So this peeping Tom pervert transported to a local hospital, and he is in stable condition. This could have gone like really bad, but I'm sure that it was satisfying for him to let off 3 shots into this peeping Tom. I mean, this is just one of those crazy stories. Crazy stories. But of course, Dominic in the morning on the RadioFire.com. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking us out. I'm going to be back with the program tomorrow, 8 a.m. Also today, as news happens, 8 p.m., the Connected Corner here on RadioFire.com. Also, 5 p.m., Traffic Jam Mix. And as news happens, as I said, we're going to be jumping in here. Social media at The Diamond K Show, at Radio and Fire. Of course, you want to support the program, RadioandFire.com/donate. Hit that subscribe button, share, like. Thank you so much. See you guys later.